Benjamin Azamati, our guest today in action on the show. Let's cut to chase now. He's joining us via Zoom from his base in California in the U.S. So, Benjamin Azamati, welcome onto the game on GHOne TV and also Star FM. Welcome onto the show, Ben.
All right.
If you can unmute yourself for us, Ben, just unmute yourself so I can hear you loud and clear in here. So I welcome you. I said welcome onto the show. How did it feel anyway watching yourself moments ago on the screen? What was one of your highlights?
I mean, it's a proud moment, of course. Wish I could have won a medal that time, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm happy watching myself and being able to win and represent Ghana.
Absolutely. How have you been now based in California with your new camp and everything? How has it been for you just on that bit, moving to California with your new team?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, the main thing was just being around a professional setting and also being able to train all year round. Currently, it's it's snowing right now in Texas, where I was last year. But right now it's about 15 degrees Celsius here, and so I could train the whole year. So that's the positive thing about me leaving Texas to California, because we have good weather here, which I can train all year round.
Now, Ben, before we come to your personal career and everything, I think just this month you came to town and then you hosted the very third edition of the Junior Olympics here in Ghana. This is the very third time. I want to ask you, how did you feel this time around?
I think this time was the most mileage we've had for the program. I think I traveled a lot. There was a lot of news about it, which me and my coach alone, we are very proud of. That's what we want. We want it to be known, we want it to be seen by everybody in the country and see what we're doing, introducing the kids to the sport at a very young age, which other countries do. Jamaica, United States, and all of Europe, they all do that. And so at the very, on the professional setting, you see their athletes to be age 18, age 17, and running against the pros and representing their country, which was mainly the motive of, having to organize this program. And so, yeah, this one was big. It was a big turnout. We were hoping to host it in a stadium, but I think there was a football game going on, so we had to move to the warm-up pitch and do it. But overall, it was a great turnout, and we had a lot of mileage.
Now, many will also think, did you get this opportunity growing up? Because I want to know how the concept was birthed.
No, I didn't get this opportunity. Same as my coach, Elama Manapo, who also didn't get the same opportunity. And so it was, we had to talk it out and, give this kid the opportunity. I started running at the age of 19. And so it goes to show that I got into the sport at a very, old age. And so this kid having to, join this program, having to get introduced to the Junior Olympics at this age is something that's very, very fulfilling to me, and it motivates me a lot. The kids look up to me, to what I'm doing, representing the country and all that, and so I'm very, very happy to be able to bring about this program, introducing kids at this age. That's where they grow their interest more, and so it's very, very good for us. As I didn't get the chance, I'm very, very happy that these kids are getting the chance to do that.
But let me come in and ask about the same event that was held at the UG Stadium. Like you said, you are a pro athlete now. At that young age, you didn't get the opportunity to get something like this. It was around 19 years when you got yourself into athletics. So with those who were there on the day at the UG Stadium, and you as a pro, you were there yourself, give us some clarities. How was it for you seeing those youngsters perform, and does it give you an indication that there's a bright future really for us based on what you saw with the youngsters performing on the day?
Yeah, absolutely. It gives me, My joy and what to look forward in the future. I'm looking at athletics for Ghana. I think we have a lot of talents to nurture, and then these kids have it. We saw a couple of good guys in there, a couple of good kids in there, which I think if we monitor them really well and keep training them from now, I think they will be they'll be a good asset for the country. They will be able to represent the country on the world stage and all that. And so yeah, it was good looking from the fans' perspective. I think we have a good talent pool for which we can pick from to represent the nation. And so, as I said, it's a great opportunity. We don't want to be doing this by ourselves. Me and Elam, I think it's something that the government has to tap into because it's at the long run is going to benefit the country as a whole. Because when they go out there, they put on the Ghanaian jersey, and so I think it's something that the government has to tap into and then make this big.
The one thing that has always been clearly a challenge in this country has been, like you're saying, talent is never a problem. But how to nurture their talents from that youthful ages to ensure there's that natural progression or growth to get to the very apex and perform for Ghana. That seems to be the problem. How do we as a nation unwrap this challenge and get ourselves now able to get these talents from that base to get to the very top and perform for this country?
It's really not that hard. There's always competitions for all age category. There's pen relays where they have kids like this running over there, and so if you have kids in Ghana who you think who have the talent to run and represent Ghana, you take them there and then they run. That's where the interest comes in. If they know that the country is interested in helping the athletes, represent the country, then that's where the interest is going to grow for them to, continue doing what they're doing. But if they are neglected, then it becomes a problem. Even though they have the talents, they'll be like, yeah, the country is not, interested or in me, representing them. But as I said, there's under 20, there's under 18 and all that. We see that all the time. And so it's not an excuse. I think if we really want this to work, I think it could really, really work 100%.
Now, Ben, I remember I saw children as young as 4 years and all that participating. I was so excited seeing them at that age participating in it and all that. But it's been 3 years running. I want to ask you, you've mentioned now that government's hand is not in this. How have you been able to sustain this for 3 years and still running, looking forward to doing it for the fourth time? Have you been able to sustain this?
Yeah, it's mostly from our own pockets, me and Elam, and also most of the college athletes here in the States. They support us in doing this, and also some of the old athletes, they also help support us in doing this. But if we want to make this really, really big, I think we need sponsorship we are open to collaborations from organizations, institutions, and yeah, so it's basically just from us and some couple of athletes in the United States that is holding this program.
Okay. I guess we can move on from the event for the kids and look at a few other things. Now, 2000 or 2024, I always call 2024, last year, how would you, in your own words, Benjamin Azamati, describe a season for you on athletics season? How was it for you, Benjamin Azamati?
No, it was not the best. It's not my best season yet. But it was all right from a fan's perspective. From African Games, many fans would say he was done. There was no way he was making the Olympics and everything. But I still went on to represent the country in the Olympics. Looking at how slow the season started, I was still able to make it to Olympics. I think it's something I'm proud of. It showed resilience and how motivated I was to go out there and show up for the country. Overall, it was an okay season. It wasn't the best for me, but I was able to go out there and go to the Olympics and then run it for the second time, and so at least something positive out of it. This year, there's World Championship. We look forward to doing that, training harder, and going there to represent Ghana as well.
Now, let's throw back to the Olympics. I mean, I was there. I saw the efforts that yourself, Joe Paul, and the others all put in during the 4x100 relay and everything. Coming out from this disappointment, you've been great, all of you, but it happened that you couldn't make it, and Nigeria had to take the position. How did you feel for the team?
We're not happy about it. We knew we could really do something on that stage, but at the end of the day, it happens. This happens in athletics. You can have the best of guys, and still your stick wouldn't you be able to go around the field. And so it happened. Once we still have another opportunity to run the game. We still keep the spirit up, and then hoping to train and then come back and then still represent our country.
So now Olympics is over. Like Benghazi asked you how the season has been. What is now you've moved from Texas? You are in California. How is the season looking like for you?
We're still in the preparation phase. Looking forward to qualify for the World Indoor, and then go run for Ghana. But yeah, that's what is on the list right now. Looking forward to qualify and doing the World Indoors in China in March, and so that's what we are preparing towards. Yeah, that's basically it.
Talk a bit more about the season.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, Benjamin Azamati, as an athlete, a pro athlete, the calendar year, there are so many events clearly in there. Like you said, you have the championship coming up that you need to qualify yourself into. There are also other championships. There's going to be the Diamond League later on in the season and all that. Are you preparing yourself for all of these, or are you picking special events to partake in as Benjamin Azamati?
Yeah, I mean, all those competitions prepare you for the World Championship, which is happening later on in Tokyo. And so, yes, it's all into consideration. I have to run them. So, yeah, I mean, we can run all the competitions that we have this year. We have to pick the ones that we think would benefit us during the season, where we are training and what we want to work on and what we want to do in that particular race. And so it's about me and my coach and my agent having to sit and talk and pick out the competitions that we need to run. But of course, there will be Diamond Leagues where I would have to run in. There will be a couple of Category A meets where I have to run in, and all that just in preparation for the championship in Tokyo later on this year in September.
Ben, as Ghanaian athletes, at the level you find yourself with the others, you are with in the States and even in Ghana, what are the challenges really that some of you go through in getting yourselves ready to hit the very top for Ghana the whole season? What are the challenges you go through as athletes? I mean, support. Tell us, what really do you guys go through, the challenges you go through?
It's mainly more about, this thing has to do with the whole body. So it's mainly more about recovery, and that also costs a lot of money.
Okay.
You have to have massages and all that. You have to, have your nutrition right, and all these things cost money. So if you really want to be at peak performance, you have to get all these things right. And once the support are not coming, you have to take everything from your pocket. It becomes a little bit of a headache for the athletes. But I mean, we're still doing what we can. We're hoping the government could come in and support us with regards to these little things that will help us to, be a peak performance and, to be able to represent the country.
We'll talk about the sports in Ghana and how we need to support and get the sport to grow at athletics. But personally, let's talk a bit about your person,
Right.
Benjamin Azamati. How did you end up in athletics? Because you said you joined around 19.
19.
How did you end up as an athlete around 19? What happened? What got you into athletics?
Back in PRESEC, I was playing football. I was on the school team. I played football for, I think, a year or two. And I was a house captain in PRESEC at that time, and it was time for athletics. Just needed people to represent my house because I was a house captain. Was getting no one, and so I just stepped in to run. I was already fast in playing football, So I stepped into run. I did really well. I think I was second that time in the 100 meters. And then my PE teachers, Nathaniel and Sir Kofi Dati, decided to, train me. And then for me to represent the school, because there was inter-schools coming on, went ahead to win that. Went ahead to represent the whole zone, won that. Went ahead to represent the whole region. That was Greater Accra. I was fourth in the 100 meters, and I came third in the 200 meters. And then that was when everything started. Came to UG, won the inter-halls, and went ahead to represent Ghana in the World University Games. Got to the semi-final, ran a PB, and then I got a scholarship to come to the United States. And that has been everything so far. That has been how I got into athletics.
Interesting one. So it happened by accident, actually. Getting into athletics.
Yeah.
Since you love football.
Because if I had someone to represent the house, I wouldn't be here.
Since you love football, tell us which club do you support?
I support Barcelona. It's a shame to say you support Barcelona right now, but I support Barcelona.
Still Blaugrana. You have no shame in here. Still Blaugrana.
I remember when Real Madrid is losing, himself and JP will not let me have ears. And now we are, you are nowhere near us, right?
Oh, please. Right? Don't go on that tangent.
Are you near Real Madrid? Nowhere.
How? You are second. We are third. What is
when the season started, you thought you win the league, right?
So you are a fan of Barcelona. That's important. He's a fan of Barcelona.
Because Benghazi is also a fan of Barcelona.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Benjamin, so it's not surprising.
That's it.
Now, Benjamin, let me ask you. In Texas, you were in school, and now you've moved to California. Any other thing you want to do, or you are focusing entirely on making sure you run through the meets in this year, or you are going back to school anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm going back to school in August. I'm looking forward to going back to school. Obviously, athletics is going to end, and so I have to look back to my academics that will take me further in my life. And so I'm going back to school. I'm going to do my master's. I'm hoping to graduate somewhere around 2027.
Wow.
If you were not into athletics or an athlete, in which field would you have found yourself, Benjamin Azamati?
And I was still in the United States, I would definitely find myself in agriculture. I'm on the animal side with sheep, goats, cattle. That's where I lean towards more. I want to work with them, working with meat inspection and all that. I think is a job that I really like to do. And so that would where I'll find myself.
A scientist in that field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had animal science in my undergrad.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to having my master's in that as well. And so I'm leaning more towards that field.
Okay.
But when you mentioned something like athletics is coming to an end. How do you mean?
I said athletics will definitely come to an end. That's what I said.
Okay.
His career in that field will come to an end very soon.
Okay. With age and everything, a time will come. Others will replace you, right? So you
exactly.
Okay, now I get it.
Anyway, you're still live on GHOne TV, live on Star FM. We are having a chit-chat with Ghanaian athlete Benjamin Azamati, who's currently based in California in the USA. Let's go for this quick time. When we come back, a lot more on the game on GHOne TV. Welcome back. You're live on the game on GHOne TV, live also on Star FM. We are still in here having a chit chat with Benjamin Azamati, Ghanaian athlete based in California. You know him very, very much so. Medalist for Ghana in the sprints. I love the bit.
He still holds the 100-meter record, right?
Yeah,
he still holds it. We'll ask him. He still holds it.
We'll get to that bit very soon. But let's get back to Benjamin Azamati and continue our chit chat with him on the show. So Ben, welcome back from that short break. And now let's talk about Ghana athletics and what it is we need to do to ensure we can get the nation up there like we see the like of Jamaica and let's do it. Now, you have been very much exposed to how things are done on the international stage, the best practices in how it is done. What are we in Ghana not doing right that is not seeing us at the top level competing favorably, but for yourself, JP, and a few others? What is keeping us from hitting the very top with athletics in Ghana?
I think it's more about getting through the ranks, because when you look at these Jamaicans and Americans, everybody you're seeing run on the world stage has been to the World Championship under 20, and so on and so forth. They've been to the Junior Olympics and all that. I think they've been through the ranks, that they know how everything works, and they know how the competition is, how the competition feels like. And that was one of the reasons why we had to do the Junior Olympics. So these kids are, taken to this, these under 20s, under 18s and all that. So they know how everything works. So I believe is the way to go, because if you pass through all that, then you go through all the system and you know how everything works. But aside that too, I think the athlete that represent Ghana mostly are in college. It's except myself and Jopo right now, and a couple of others who are not in school right now. There's a very, very big gap. I mean, they do well in the college, but there's a big gap right after they are done with the NCAA season, and that's where we have to take really good care of them. As in helping them get into competitions and making sure we are taking care of them, because I know the scholarship ends right after the school is done, and so they have to cater for themselves. That means they have to find for jobs. And whilst you're working and then you're trying to train and represent the country, it becomes a little bit hard for you, the athletes. And then, as I said, for you to be at peak performance, you have to really, really take good care of your body, taking massages, having your nutrition right, and all these has to do with money. And so if you really, really want these guys to, do well for the country, I think those are the times that gap right after the NCAA season is done is where we have to, take the athletes and then take good care of them and prepare them for the competition that's ahead. Let's take this year, for instance. The NCAA for the Division 2 ends around, I think, ending of May. For Division 1 ends around June. And so there's for Division 2, there's June, July, I guess that's 3 months before September, which the World Championship is in. Now, Jopo and I would be running that time. We have no problem with that. But the guys that are in school wouldn't have any meets to run in, because entering the meets requires money because you have no agent. And so if the governments or the country can take care of that, just that gap for them, and make sure they are still in shape, they are still running to be race ready, then they would be able to, go out there and perform really well for the country. I think that's what we have to focus on, aside whatever that I talked about. That is the part that we need to, also focus on, because it's hard having to sit for 3 months to go back and go compete without having any race. You wouldn't know the type of race shape you're in, and also racing, gives you a lot of confidence. And so, I think that's the part we have to focus on if we really, really need these guys at their best to represent the country.
So from what you said, Ben, I want to understand this. To compete or find meets to compete in, does it solely rest on you, the athletes, and your coach?
Your team?
They don't have
Your
it.
team
It's
or
a
your
coach.
coach,
Your
yeah.
your team that you work with. Does it solely depend
Yeah,
on you? Because I want to
yeah,
understand the role. I want to
I will
understand.
exclude myself in this
Okay.
case because I have an agent who does all those things for me.
Okay.
But when it comes to the guys in the NTA or the college athletes, they need to do it themselves. They need to enter the meets themselves. Uh, if you have a good coach, he's going to do it for you. Use his own money. But then again, the coach might be American. You're the one supposed to represent Ghana. He might not be willing to do it for you
Okay.
because at the end of the day, he's an American. Even though he wants to still see you in there running and representing him as well. I think it's the responsibility of Ghana to do that for the athlete. And so, yes, it depends solely on the athletes. If you are in the NTA, and if you don't have an agent, also it solely depends. It's only on you to try and find these meets to run it. Sometimes it's even hard to get in because it has to deal with connections. So your agent has to be a very good one to be able to enter you into these meets. But there are smaller meets where you can still race to just be in race shape.
So with the Ghana Athletics
Federation.
Federation, what exactly do they do for the athletes who represent Ghana? All these athletes,
As in,
including
do
you.
they have a role
Yeah, do they have
in
a
this
role?
particular thing you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I want to understand.
I think now they are getting into the part where they want to help the athletes get into meets. I think Andrew last year Andrew was able to do it because they had a lot of the guys go all the way to Tennessee to go run, and so I think they are trying to put together these things and help the college athletes so that they are able to get meets to run in. But then again, they have to be supported by the government if the Ghana Athletic Association has to do these things.
For us in Ghana, we have a new government now. I don't like to go, but we need to go there. We have a new government in now. Benjamin Azamati as an athlete repping Ghana. If you had the president, John Dramani Mahama, one-on-one, what would be the word you want to pass on to him regarding athletics and how the nation can push and support athletics to get it to the very top?
Yeah, that's to look for the future of athletics in Ghana. As we are doing, just making sure the kids get interested in the sports. That's my main concern because all of us are around 25, 26, 4, 5 years, 6 years, we will be, we'll be done running and representing the country. But, we have to look back. If you still want to be doing this, if Ghana still want to be represented on the world stage, I think we need to look back to the kids and then, nurture them, make them love the sports and, get them into competitions, make them interested in the sports more. But when it comes to us, as I've said, it's more about taking care of the guys in the NCAA. It could be in the form of stipends for them to just that gap to just find meets for themselves and also just money to just help them feed during that time and train. And at the end of the day, they are representing Ghana, and so it wouldn't hurt to give them money to do all those things.
Difficult is it? Because you've emphasized on this a number of points. How difficult really is it for persons like yourself in school? You are given scholarships by the school, but you need to compete as well for the nation. How difficult is it to manage financially, taking care of yourself out there as student athletes, or even when you're done with school, still competing? How difficult is it for you guys out there?
It is. It's difficult, especially if you are also not really from a well-to-do family. You the little that you're giving, you have to some way or the other have to give some to your family back home. And so when you look at all these things, it becomes a little bit hard for the athletes, and as well as having to try to get into competitions, you still have to travel and having to buy plane tickets in order to other states even in the United States. It's a little bit pricey, and talk of going outside the United States, which is even more pricier. So it's very very hard when you look at it. Even if you want to drive, you still have to get forward and all that. So it's hard. It's not crazy money that the schools give you. No, it's money that you would use some to pay your rent, and then the rest is something that you have to take care of yourself with, to buy food and all that. Yeah, I think that's basically it. It's very very hard, especially having the. You have to also make sure you have enough money saved for that 3 years, that 3 months, that school reopens, and so you have to save and all that. So when you sit down and you look at it, it's very very hard for the athlete.
Now, Ben, talking about the future, when you guys are no longer competing for the country, you understand? And now shifting away from the Junior Olympics, those in school, like how you were in school, the university, when you had a scholarship, will you say it's about time the association or your federation, including the government, takes a look at these athletes in the universities and in secondary schools who are doing much better like you guys were doing, to support them with scholarships?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would go a long way to help the future of Ghana athletics. They have to support them with scholarship. It becomes a problem when you don't really have money. You have to think a lot, because the world we live in right now, everything you're doing is all about money, and so it becomes a problem. You're not really that motivated to do what you want to do, and as I said, everything that is around athletics has to do with money. Taking care of your body, eating, and all that has to do with money. So I think scholarship will go a long way into helping the future of athletics.
That's key, because I know several mates, athletes,
Yeah.
who had scholarships and moved to the States in the colleges where they're competing and doing everything. But after school, because it was difficult for them to combine the two, they had to make a decision. So most of them dropped athletics and had to find some jobs to do out there in the States and ended their career. I know several of your mates who,
Yeah.
went even ahead of you, who had to drop, throw away the athletics and focus on life in the States. So it's a reality he's talking about.
Yeah.
I have a number of stories from some of the
Yeah.
athletes who have
Yeah.
shared in private with me what it is they have to go through and how to decide on dropping athletics.
I mean,
and
when they
just
came for the
focusing on
Accra
their
games,
job.
saw quite a number of them there.
Who
I saw
came
them,
around
who came
support,
around
yeah.
to support yourself and the others. I saw them. So it's really a challenge. It's really a challenge that the federations will also take a look at that, including the governments as well.
Absolutely. So that's the point. In wrapping up things with you, Benjamin Azamati, we have begun the year. You have said your aspirations are very clear. You need to qualify for the World Championships, whilst partaking in all the other events that are coming up as well. At the end of the year in December, what would you, Azamati, consider as success for the year for you?
Um, I'll, um, I'll take I'll take running personal best. Um, this year we're hoping to win a medal for the country. We are not setting the goal so low for us. We can do it. We have the talent to do it, and so it would be a success to, run personal best this year, both in the 60, 100, and 200 meters, because I'm looking forward to doing all these three events this year. So I would say it will be a success for me if all these things are able to happen, as well as going into the World Championships and going out there and then working hard to get a medal for the country.
Now, before we take leave of you, the Junior Olympics that you did is something really, really commendable. And I want to ask you, in your final words, what will you say to corporate Ghana, to whoever you want to speak to come and support this initiative to help the country with our future athletics?
Yeah, as I said, we are open to collaborations. I think it's something that is going to help the future of athletics for Ghana. At the long run, these kids are going to represent Ghana and not me. Even though even though I've started everything, they're still going to represent Ghana. And so, I think the institutions and organizations have to come on board to support this program. It's a good cause. It's going to go a long way to help the future of Ghana athletics.
And how do people get involved? I mean, the athletes, are they only Ghanaians? Those who compete.
Those who competed this year most were in Ghana, but some of them had to fly from the UK to come here to come run. Even they were Ghanaians as well, but they had to fly from the UK to come compete.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much, Benjamin, namesake Azamati, for your time with us today on the game on GHOne TV and also on Star FM. We're wishing you the very best in a season, of course, plus your other teammates as well, JP and the others who are all with you out there in the States, and hoping that we can get one or two of our local athletes also performing to get to the very level you find yourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
all
for
the
your
best.
time.
That's Benjamin Azamati.